It's working. Sorry, I'm eating. I'm usually eating. Okay. I'm eating macarons, which are like my favorite thing in the world. My mom got me 3 boxes from Trader Joe's. Thank you, Mom. Also, the flavors are okay. The fig ones are disgusting. They made me want to vomit. Apricot is gross. Everything else I'll tolerate. This has been my food critique that nobody asked for. I'll probably eat and talk. So this week... hi. How's your week? I hope it's good. Mine has been good. So, last week, I interviewed my friend Caleb about his journey with medication, and I wanted to do a series, basically tough pill to swallow, because I think I'm hilarious, and then interview my friend in Canada and then my friend in Europe to kind of compare and contrast experiences in the US, Canada, Europe about getting medication, what it's like, similarities, differences, etc. And then I went home this weekend and got to reconnect with people, and also took a week off last week because I slept through all my alarms, missed work, and was really just in this depressive episode and was like, wow, I don't feel up for streaming. I need a week off, so I took the week off. And postponed the medication series and wanted to talk this week about what life is like after a suicide attempt. Because I realized, we talk a lot about mental health, we talk a lot about anxiety, depression, and mental health, and all that stuff, but there's not a lot of support groups, or coping methods, or really much out there for people who've attempted suicide, survived, and now need to just keep living. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Myself included. And I'm happy to share my story, and I'm also sharing the story of someone very close to me who is remaining anonymous. A little bit of background on this story, or this person. We grew up together, very tight, basically our whole lives, and now my cat's gonna join. We grew up together, we're close basically our whole lives, had good relationship, bad relationship, like close and then not close, typical whatever, and we didn't really talk for like a year and a half, and I was kind of upset, like, why did this person cut me off? And it's hard to keep this person anonymous because they've been a huge part of my life, and it's hard to not just accidentally say their name because they've been a huge part of my life, but I'm gonna do my best. And it's hard not to tell too much of their story without giving them away, but it's also hard not to share just how important this story is without like telling more details. So I'm kind of stuck in this, like, how much do I share without giving away who they are, but I want people to understand how important this story is. Basically, just understand that I grew up with this person, their family, we're tight, and we grew up together, and then we didn't talk the last year and a half, and we reconnected when I went home this weekend. And I saw them and spent time with them for like the first time in a year and a half. And they've given me permission to share their story, anonymous, and I will do my best. So some trigger warnings, we're going to talk about suicide, and I feel like this whole channel is just a little bit of a trigger warning, so we're talking about mental health and stuff, and a lot of people can be triggered, and that's okay. But I think the point of this stream is less, it's less about suicide and sad, traumatic stuff and more about life afterwards. That's what I really want to focus on. So, this person, I did not know, but about a month ago, they went to the hospital after trying to overdose and were drunk. They got drunk, overdosed, ended up in the hospital for about like 5-6 days. And that was an attempt at suicide. They ended up in the ER, or not what I don't think it was ICU, but ER for about 2 days. Or maybe ICU for 2 days, and then went to the psych ward for 3, and then were discharged. And moved back home, took a leave from their job, and trying to get, I think they went back to work today actually, so good luck. And they are, yeah, so it's been about a little under a month for them trying to readjust. And when I saw them, like, I had no idea. I just knew they were home now, and I was like, okay, like, I don't know why. My parents were very vague about it, and I kept pushing, trying to figure out why, and they're like, nope, it's their story to tell, not ours. They just weren't taking care of themselves, and I was like, okay, like, I'm not on speaking terms with this person, so they're probably not going to tell me, but I guess we're being secretive, like, whatever. So I was kind of just being petty about it. And then this person, they opened up to me and shared their experience in more detail, and I just sat there listening and had no idea, because this is, I'm hearing about it for the first time like a month later. And my first reaction was anger at my parents for not telling me and keeping it to themselves for a month. And then I realized, okay, they're respecting this person's privacy. I get it. And the anger very quickly turned away, like, very quickly disappeared too. I'm so sad this person felt like they couldn't talk to me. And then it was how scary that I almost received a call saying, hey, this person's dead, after not talking for like a year and a half. And it was the first time that I was on that end, because I've been the one who's attempted suicide. So I've been the one who's been on this person's end of the story. I'm not usually the one hearing about it, realizing, holy shit. Like, it was a real role reversal for me. And it felt like the last year and a half of not really talking, anger, any resentment just melted away. How can I be mad at someone and hold my resentments and feel petty after they went through something like that? I couldn't. So I'm not. And they opened up, shared with me, and then asked, what was your attempt like? And I told them about my attempt and how I had been in the hospital for 6 days, except mine was basically all in the psych ward. I was only in the ER for like 12-18 hours. And sorry, I have a little bit of a migraine right now, but so that, and then I told them how I was referred to counseling and all this stuff, and how, you know, like, I kept it brief because I wanted them to share. And then I listened to them share about how they felt awkward because They said people are walking on eggshells around me, people don't know how to act, people treat me like I'm really fragile. I thought I was going to lose my job. My friends are acting different. Mom and dad are acting different. I don't really know what to do with myself. I was really angry and disappointed when the doctor said I made a full medical recovery. And everything they said, I'm like, that is so relatable. I remember what all of that felt like. And then they said, you're the only person I knew would understand, but I was too afraid to tell you. I thought you were going to be mad at me. And that broke my heart. Because I realized I had absolutely failed as a family member. Because for someone who's such an advocate of mental health, someone who's so open about talking about their experiences, I let down someone so close to me and didn't make them feel safe enough to talk to me about something like that. And I know, like, you know, a lot of my friends will be quick to reassure, and I love them for that. Like, you did everything you... No, I didn't. I was not a good family member. So it caused a lot of reflection in me. And I understood the impact my suicide attempt had on everybody else around me. Because it made me realize this is how I made everybody around me feel, whether or not I meant to or not. And it just solidified the idea that, you know what? Suicide, I can sit there and tell myself, I'm only hurting me. It's not a big deal. And that's the thing with mental illness. It is selfish, and it tricks you into thinking you're the only one you're hurting, but it's not true. You hurt everyone around you, whether or not you mean to, and it's not your fault. You just don't see it because you're clouded. And it is what it is. And, you know, nobody's at fault, and that's the thing with mental illness. It is insidious, it is quiet, it lurks, and it does damage when you're not aware of it. And then when all is said and done, you look at your health bar and you're like, how the fuck did I get down to 15 or 10 or 5? I wasn't even doing anything. And it's like, oh shit, I've been cursed this whole time and didn't even realize it. And then all of a sudden, like, your entire party is cursed. I don't play video games. Like, that's my best analogy attempt. But, but when this person was talking to me about their experience, and it made all these feelings come up in me, that was the first time I realized, holy crap, this is how I made everybody else feel. And that was very new for me. So it was a learning experience for me. It helped solidify my relationship with this person, which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful they're okay. And they said, you know, you're the only person I knew would understand. I'm glad you're not mad at me. And I said, of course I'm not. And I said, honestly, if Dad had called me and said, this person died, by the way, and that was it, I don't know how I would have coped with that. I don't think I could have recovered, because I wouldn't have known why we disconnected, why we stopped talking, anything like that. And I told this person, that is what scared me the most. That is what's most upsetting. And it forced us to have a conversation about why we grew distant. And that was a very good, very rewarding conversation. So in that way, it was like we made amends to each other, and they said they were grateful to have someone that understood. And I was so grateful that I could be there to help lay it out and just make it clear, like, I won't be walking on eggshells around you because been there, done that. Join the club, get in line. Like, we were able to laugh together. I told him if I had gotten that phone call, I would have driven back home, raised you from the dead, and killed you myself. And they went, but, and I went, no buts. Would have killed you myself. And we had a good laugh, which was nice. That we were able to kind of lighten it up a little bit together. And I was able to share my experiences of what life was like after. Because I told them, I hadn't thought about it in so long, but no one wants to talk about what it's like afterwards. They want to pretend everything is okay and go back to the way it was, because no one wants to truly acknowledge that this happened. Like, after my suicide attempt when I was 21, and like coming home, going back to work, wanting to go back to school and all this stuff, I remember friends treating me differently. I remember all of that. I remember being treated differently, being treated like I'm fragile. I remember hearing people blame themselves. I remember all of that. And I remember that made me feel even more helpless. Because that wasn't my intention. I remember feeling angry and frustrated because I was like, how dare they make this about them? Because it's not. I just wanted to be done. It's not about them. And it took me a long time to realize, wow, how selfish of me. Of course they're going to respond like that because I've now had that experience. And it's of course they're going to blame themselves because they care about this person, they care about you. And then they think everything's fine. And then to find out this person tried to end their life, the first thing you're going to do is respond, holy shit, what did I miss? What could I have done? Because I think people that care about you, their natural instinct is to think, what could I have done to help make this person feel better? What could I have done to improve it? Because they care about you. And even if you feel like the shittiest person in the world, there will be people that care about you. And they blame themselves because they care about you. And that was exactly what I did with this person, was how could I have been so selfish? How did I miss the signs? How did I dismiss all these things? And I heard them say to me exactly what I've said. I wasn't hurting anybody, I was just hurting me. And I got to explain to them, by trying to hurt yourself, you're hurting everyone around you. By severing ties with everyone around you, because when you end your life, you're severing those ties. You are hurting everyone connected to you because they've lost that connection. And now they have to grieve that, and they'll never fully understand why. And there's no peace with that. They will always be haunted by that. And but here's the thing, as a survivor, at 21, I didn't think I was going to live past 22. And it was so hard for me. Surviving, I'll be honest, completely sucked at first. I was even more depressed. There is no I'm so grateful I survived bullshit. I was even more upset because I'm either going to have to try again and it's going to be even harder because now more people are watching, or I'm going to have to do the work and plan a future. And when you want to kill yourself, it's generally not because things are rainbows and sunshine and things are going great and you want to throw it away for funsies. It's because when I looked in the future, I saw nothing. And now, from seeing nothing, I survive, and now you want me to build everything. That's a lot to ask from somebody who didn't want to be alive. Now you want me to build a whole life. That's a lot of pressure. It's exhausting. And I remember kicking myself for a long time, like, why couldn't I have just killed myself better? This is so much work. And that's the reality of it. Because when someone makes that decision, and I can't speak for everyone, this is just my experience, but it's like when you make that decision to be done, there's something freeing in that. There's no pressure for the future, there's no pressure of this. You feel free from that. And in no way am I condoning it at all. I'm trying to explain why people justify it and why it makes sense, because it frees you from so much pressure and bullshit you feel obligated to fulfill. At least it did for me. And to survive, you realize all of those expectations are now on you again. And I have to comfort all of these people around me who are now super scared of losing me. And that is so much to ask for from someone who doesn't even want to be here. And I'm not mad at anybody, but the way people treat people who've attempted suicide and survived is really fucking shitty. And it's nobody's fault. It's just you don't get trained how. All the attention goes to rehabilitating this person, and no one teaches the supporters what to do. And you know, I'm not an expert. I'm not trained, but one thing I can tell you, I hate with a passion being told, you're so strong. You're so resilient. You've overcome so much. I know you're having a bad day, but you're so strong. You can do anything. And blah, 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 blah. You're a miracle. You've been given a second chance. You know what, motherfucker? Sometimes I just want to have a bad day. And I'm allowed to do that. And I'm gonna do that. And I know people mean well, and I know they have good intentions when they say those things and they want to cheer me up. But you know what? I am so tired of hearing how strong I am, how resilient I am, how I am such a miracle, because now I feel like I have so much to live up to. And you know what? I didn't fucking sign up for that. I am just a human who is trying to be a fucking human and survive. And I am so tired of being praised for being resilient, for being strong, for being a miracle. I'm not a fucking miracle. I realize I've been given a second chance. But you know what? I'm not gonna parade it around. I'm not gonna parade and show myself off or market myself as a miracle or as the comeback kid, because I'm not. I'm a survivor. Not even really I'm a survivor, but like I'm not a willing survivor. You know, like I didn't want to survive. I didn't ask for that. Neither did the person that is willing to let me share their story. Neither one of us asked for that. We're stuck. We didn't want to be here. We didn't ask to be here. We got stuck here. We got stuck surviving, and we weren't happy about it. But I decided to fucking do the counseling. I got into AA. With time, I learned to enjoy my life again. I decided to go back to school to get my degree. I decided to try and continue living That does not make me a miracle. That does not make me a comeback kid. That does not make me strong. It does not make me resilient. I made normal choices. I went back to school. I don't deserve extra praise for doing those things. I was not a willing survivor. No suicide attempt survivor is a willing one. And that is something people need to understand. I don't want to be praised for surviving and choosing to survive. Because in a way, I almost feel like I'm being mocked because I didn't want to be here. And it's a lot of complex emotions. People who have never attempted suicide will not understand, and I don't expect you to. And I'm not saying your compliments are not appreciated. I'm just saying a lot of this toxic positivity does a lot more damage than a lot of people realize. Because I got my degree. Yay. I don't deserve extra praise for it. Please don't give it to me. Like, I've been working now after college. I'm applying to PA school. I have these goals and dreams that I am particularly proud of because I thought I would be dead at 22. I did not have goals and ambitions. I did not see myself living past 22. I looked in the future and saw nothing. Now I look in the future and I see myself doing something, being something, making something. And that's huge for me. And I am so insanely proud of myself and I am happy. But I don't need other people to do that for me as well. Like, I am happy that my family is proud of me, but I don't need them to say, remember this tragedy you went through and now you're here. I don't need you to link it to that. It's just a normal accomplishment, and I want you to just leave it as that. I don't need everything tied back to this tragedy I overcame. That is not who I am. I am just Allison, 26, aspiring PA. That's it. Also the proud cat mama of 2 nutzos. That's it. I don't need everything tied back to this tragedy, and I'm telling you, no survivor does. No survivor needs to be tied back to that experience. I certainly don't. And again, I constantly hear all the fucking time how strong I am, how resilient. Those are, you can ask anybody in my life to describe me, and I guarantee someone, everyone, will at least say strong, resilient, or something, which I appreciate, and it is very kind. Ask them why. Those who know me, I guarantee, will tell you about things I've overcome. And again, I appreciate that. But please remember that I did not ask for it. I did not sign up for it. And don't ask me if I would go back and do it all over again, because I hate that question, because honestly, I don't fucking know. I don't wish my life on anybody, because it's not always pretty. I don't wish these experiences on anybody. This is a life that I got dealt with, and I'm dealing with it. I'm living it to the best of my ability. That's all I can do. And it is not easy being a survivor. And I'm doing the best I can, and that's all I can do. And I know how lucky I am to be where I'm at. Not every survivor gets to this point. I still struggle with depression nearly 5 years later. I still struggle with anxiety. I still think thoughts like, man, I am so tired. Like, I could just sleep forever. I can't make comments like that around people that know me and my story because you see the worry in their eyes. I can't joke with a lot of people about dying because they know, and I see that. Eggshells. 5 years later, they're still on the ground. And it's like, for me, I feel like I'm just so casual about death now. It doesn't scare me. I've never truly been that scared of it. Maybe as a kid, but like, it doesn't scare me. I don't want to die. Believe me, I don't. but I'm also not like, oh my god, I never ever ever want to die. Like, I understand death is coming for everyone, and that doesn't bother me. It is what it is. I'm not actively seeking death. I'm also not like, oh my god, death. It is what it is. It comes when it comes. But sometimes I'm just like, man, life would be so much easier if it just like didn't. If I could just like be in bed forever. That'd be amazing. I have bad days where I think if I had just succeeded, I could be napping forever. Do I mean those thoughts? Absolutely not. Is this a cry for help? No. I'm fine. And that's the thing, as a survivor, it's like you suddenly can't say things anymore without people freaking out, ready to call the psych ward and be like, oh my god, I'm worried. You don't need to worry. I mean, you can, but like, I really do not want to feel like I need to watch every single fucking thing I say. You know? Like, I'm still me. Changed, but me. And I know it's hard for people around me to fully understand that, especially those who were there in person, who saw me in the hospital and stuff. You know. And now that I've been on the other side, I didn't see this person in the hospital, but I've been on the other side, so I get that like worried feeling now. But I also am not going to treat them different. I know that they are going to have bad days. I will have bad days. It is what it is. Life doesn't magically get better. But life also isn't gonna, stay super, super shitty. Life is still just life as it's always been. I'll continue to roll with the punches. I'll continue to get through every bad day and every good day. It is what it is. And if you know survivors, I can't speak for all of them. But I know for me, like, please don't make me feel more guilty than I already do. We talk a lot about survivor's guilt. People that survive tragedies and natural disasters or car accidents where someone else died and they survived. And I decided to call this survivor's guilt because it's like I attempted to take my life, which would have been a tragedy, but I survived. But I look at everyone, and sometimes you look at them and it's like they're looking at you like you are a potential tragedy. You were, or you are, an almost tragedy. Like, you could be a tragedy at any moment. Maybe it's asking a lot, but like, I've moved forward and grown, and I would really like it if people in my life did the same. The big point is, I'm not stronger than other people. I hate that too. You're stronger than me, you're more resilient than me. No, I'm not. I just went through a different circumstance. Like, no circumstance is worse or different. Circumstances are just different. I don't know how else to put it. Some might seem worse, some might seem better or easier to get through. But at the end of the day, circumstances are circumstances. You get through them. I'm not stronger because I've been through certain things. I'm not more resilient because I survived X, Y, Z, and you've only been through A, B, C. I'm at the end of the alphabet and you're at the beginning, you pussy. Like, no, that's not how that works. And I was just having this conversation with a 16-year-old, not this conversation, but I was talking to a 16-year-old that I used to nanny for. I can't believe he's fucking 16. He's still 6 in my brain, so it's very weird. But he was talking and telling me about 16-year-old drama, and in my mind, I wanted to be like, you're 16, you don't know shit, this isn't a big deal. And then I had to stop myself and think, for a 16-year-old, that might be the end of the world. Who am I to invalidate that? That is their XYZ, their end of the alphabet. For them, that is on par with like that is their worst thing right now for their moment in time, their life. You don't get to dictate what's harder for somebody, what's easier for somebody, what's worse. So the situation he was telling me about, the people going through it, like, I might look at that and think they're immature children, they're being stupid, and they might look back and agree, but in that moment, in their 16-year-old lives, that might feel like the end of the world. And their pain is real. That does not make it less. Because as adults, I've had a chance to reflect and think that's stupid. That's not where they're at right now. And me as a 26-year-old, some 80-year-old doesn't get to look at me and say, oh, your experiences are less than or not as hard. Just wait till you're older. Fuck you. My experiences are real and hard and whatever. They're real and valid for me right now in this moment. So the point is, everybody's monsters look different. What's the end of the world for me might be a walk in the park for you, and vice versa. And that's okay. So for me, someone might look at my life and say, holy shit, you've been through so much. You're so strong. You're so blah, blah, blah. You're stronger, blah, blah. I'm just another human who has been through their unique circumstances, and you are a human who's been through your unique circumstances, and you are equally strong and equally resilient. Probably in ways that, like, I never will be. You know? Like, you have probably gone through things that you think are no big deal, but I'll hear your story and think, wow, that's incredible. I don't know how you did that. And vice versa. And that's okay. And I know, and I'm not trying to like make light of suicide or anything like that, or say it's no big deal, because I understand it's a huge deal. But the point I want to really drive home is that, like, in my life, it was not my defining moment. Yet sometimes, as a survivor, a lot of people act and treat me like it was my defining moment, and I'm strong and resilient because of those things, or because of that event. And, you know, yeah, I am strong, I am resilient, but not because of that one event. You know, like, I'm strong and resilient for so many other reasons. And that was just another event and circumstance out of so many in my life. And it sucked, and it was hard for everyone around me. And I think the reason why so many people want to, like, pinpoint back to that one tragedy is because it impacted them so much out of all the events in my life. So for them, they can compare, you know, with that one, which makes sense. But, like, please understand that for a survivor of suicide attempts, that might just be another circumstance in a sea of lots of circumstances. For the person that allowed me to share their story today, the person that I'm, you know, close to again and I'm grateful for, am I going to define them by this experience? No. He's so much more than that. He's so much more. He loves cats. He's good with them. He plays piano, or he's learning to again. He can play guitar, like, he's holding the same job. He's considering going back to school. Like, there's so much more about him than that. Like, there's so much more about me than my attempts. And hopefully with time, he will define himself by more than that. And he'll see that that was another circumstance. Another thing he got over and moved forward from in a sea of circumstances in his timeline. And it's hard, and it takes a lot of time to recover, and you might think about it a lot. I sometimes will think about mine, and sometimes, you know, but, like, my life doesn't revolve around that. I have so much more going on now, and I hope that he gets to that point as well, where he sees that was a tragedy and I got through it. I'm moving forward. That is not who I am as a person, and I'm moving forward. I define myself by so many other things. because a lot of people try and define you for you. And hopefully you learn that you define you. I mean, again, like, a lot of my friends call me strong and resilient. Again, I'm not mad at you for that. I appreciate it. It's kind. But there's so much more to me than that. So much more. And, you know, some of my friends will be like, you're a badass. You're this. And, you know, I'll say, you know what? I don't feel strong today. I feel weak today. And they'll be like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, okay, I'm a human. I'm allowed to fucking feel that way. I am not strong all the time. I will feel weak, and there is nothing wrong with that. That's another thing. It's like, if people know you've attempted suicide, it's like, anytime you say you feel weak or whatever, they're like, no. And it's like, bitch, calm down. Yikes. I feel weak. And I don't feel strong. And that's another thing. Don't make me feel like I always have to be X, Y, like, you know, strong. I always have to be resilient. I always have to have a good day. I always have to do this. Sometimes I don't feel good. Sometimes I feel weak. Sometimes I feel shitty. And that's okay. Because if someone puts, like, this pressure on me to always be good, always be strong, you know what? I don't want to be around that person, because fuck you. That's way too much pressure to put on somebody. I'm a human. Surprise! Like, I didn't ask to be human, but here I am. Like, I'd rather be a cat, to tell you the truth, but whatever. I'm stuck being a fucking human. I'm gonna have bad days. It is what it is. Just let me have my bad fucking day. I'm gonna be fine. I'll get through it like I've gotten through literally everything else in my life. One bad day isn't gonna kill me. I tried to kill myself 3 times, and guess what? I'm still sitting here. So, like, I'm gonna be fine if I have a bad day or 3. You know, part-time human, part-time goddess, whatever. Oh, that doesn't taste very good. That's unfortunate. I'm not gonna kill myself over it, though. Don't you worry. And of course I'm gonna finish it. Yeah, that's really not good. Trader Joe's let me down. Fuck you, Joe. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna eat the other one. Of course I am. Oh. After all that talk about suicide, you know? Maybe I should provide some, like, resources. Look. National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Did you get the number? Okay, good. Oh, here's a crisis text line number. Boop. Boop. Oh, and actually on Facebook, there are support groups for life after suicide attempts. There's really not a lot of support groups and support systems out there. But I just went on Facebook and typed in suicide attempt survivors support group and just joined, like, the top 2. They have some pretty strict rules, lots of trigger warnings, the usual. They're okay, but it's hard to find support. You don't really, everyone's at different stages of, you know, moving forward and afterwards. There's people fresh out of the hospital, there's people in the hospital, there's people about to go in the hospital. And it's hard to find people who are, you know, so many years out and trying to get back on their feet. It's hard to get back on your feet because it's hard to have things to lose, because it means you can fucking lose it, and that's scary. And I get that. But I have the most to lose now than I've ever had. Yeah, it can be scary, but I wouldn't go back to when I had nothing to lose. I have something to live for. I've never really had that before. It's pretty fucking awesome. So, I love where I'm at. And I only want the best for this person who got out of the hospital like a month ago. And, yeah. I don't really have a good ending, just hopefully things get better for anyone struggling. And if they don't, right away, one day at a time, that's all we can do. If you can get through one torturous night with your brain and cry and feel awful, you can get through 2. And then 3. And then 4. Then before you know it, you wake up and maybe it's not that bad. I'm here 5 years later, So, and I'm not gonna be like, if I can do it, you can do it, because I am not the standard for fucking anything, okay? Like, if I can do it, you can do it. Fuck that bullshit. Who am I to say that? Like, or the whole like, I did it, you do it too. Like, such cheesy cliche bullshit, Anyway, I hate that, like, live, love, laugh, toxic positivity, just cheer up bullshit. Like, I will never, ever, ever do that. I will always be like, yeah, shit sucks. And then, like, eat a snack, go shower, take a nap, watch TV. Like, I will never not be real, because I don't understand any of that, like, I don't understand that fake shit. How miserable do you have to be to have live, love, laugh in your home somewhere? I don't get it. And if you have that in your home and you're not named Karen, that's a whole nother stream that I don't even want to do right now. But, yeah. I don't know. I hope you do something that you love today that makes you smile. Hug someone that you like. And if you don't like hugs, I don't know, text them. And if you don't feel social, whatever, go take a nap. Do whatever makes you smile. I'm gonna go shower and eat some macarons for dinner. Or maybe like real food, but definitely more macarons, because that's what makes me happy. So, yeah. I think this has been a good stream. And I feel like I can talk a lot more about it. And I think if it comes up, I will. But for now, I'm happy with where this is. Yeah, okay. That's a good ending. I hope you have a good week. I'll see you next Wednesday. I'll be in Arizona with my boyfriend. Don't know what we'll talk about. I don't know. We'll see. I'll wing it like I usually do. Bye.